I am Brandon. Welcome to the show tonight. We got a good show for you. 2 hours of music and interviews, taking phone calls. We're definitely getting it in. And it's just a blessing to be on the stage and be able to give some love to a man who's, came across my lane and decided, I was like, you know what, I have to interview this guy, not just from a lot of the work that he's been doing, but that he's been continuing to do. And, I know he's an NY native, so we gonna definitely put a mic on this guy. But at the same time, y'all heard this hot one right here that I definitely want all you people out there who loves it, tweet it, do everything, hit it up at Nexxlegacy or iambranded, and just keep giving the love that should be. Anytime you have good music should be a time for celebration. And my man that's on, that we're about to put him on right now, he is definitely a catalyst to that. So, we going to grant access tonight to my man, vocal powerhouse Terrell T-Rex Simon on All Legacy Access. Good evening, sir.
What's going on? How you doing? I'm doing good. Good evening.
Man, just, listening to your song, vibing, you know what I'm saying? So I got to give you your props, sir. And, very talented guy, so we got to make sure that we give up that good credit. And, it's a blessing to be able to hear that nice joint right now, man. So props up top.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Now, I know your bio and I know your history, but I want the listeners out there that's listening to you for the very first time, listening to your music for the very first time, to kind of get to know you tonight. So, if you don't mind, why don't you give the listeners a little bit of information about who you are, T-Rex?
Okay. My name is Terrell T-Rex Simon. I'm originally from Detroit, New York. Grew up in the church singing, and one thing led to another. That I'm making a long story short. I ended up meeting Life Jennings, and started traveling with Life, doing backgrounds, and ended up his assistant, his manager, and then I got into the business side of it, and I started road managing Shalik, another artist, working with groups like Day 26, and just recently, I'm here now after about 15 years working in the business, working on my own album. And it's a gospel album, and it's called 8, and it just hit the stores, and that's just, a brief history about me.
And you pretty much put it in a nice little bottle for the people to actually, listen to, open it up, and appreciate it. But you made it sound so simple. Like you made it sound like you just met Life Jennings just on a whim, and I'm like, how did you do that, man? Like, how did it get to the point where it's just like y'all cross paths? Like, how did you do that?
I had a friend in church that was like, yo, I know this guy at Sony, and you should meet him. And he, my friend Dawn, and the guy came out, and he happened to be working at Sony just at the time Life had got out of jail and was starting to work on his first album. And he called me. He was like, Life is here. He's looking for singers. You should come meet him. And I went and I met him, and Life was like, oh, my God. He was just amazed. He's like, I'm going to take you on the road with me. And that was in 2002 or 3. And we ended up becoming like the best of friends, and I ended up. That's how it all started.
Isn't it funny how that works though? Like you get to the point where you just like, okay, well this has been a passion of mine doing music, but just instantly connecting to somebody who actually, around that time, his first album is still a classic. You know what I mean? So it's still one of those kind of moments where you just kind of step back and be like, wow, like. Out-of-body experience real quick one time, right?
Yeah, I was with Life this weekend in Houston. And he said, we're going to take it back to the first album, 268192, and the place went crazy. Like, they knew every word, every song. Like, yes, that album is a classic album. It'll never go away.
You mentioned some others, and notably Day 26 and things like that. I mean, with working with and doing some stuff with Life Jennings, and then, you know, like the people that you mentioned as far as the stuff that you've done, like, I mean, how did that all come about? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that's aspiring artists that's just trying to be able to look for a break at any point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you get to that point where you just okay, Life Jennings, boom, one day, the next day, boom, day 26, the next day,
well, you know what?
boom, this person, like,
well,
how did that happen?
Well, first of all, I think you have to be talented, of course. And
absolutely.
You know, I think you have to be humble, and you have to be the type of guy that everybody get along with. You know what I mean? Because nobody don't want to call somebody that's, you know, getting on everybody's nerves. And the business is real small. Once I got in the business and Life gave me a platform, Life was actually letting me sing in his shows by myself. So a lot of, you know, different singers and people were coming out, and they're like, oh, my God, you know, we got to work with you. So from just touring with Life, you know, and going on the road with him, with John Legend and Music Soul Child and Anthony Hamilton, and all of them getting a chance to see me, you know, and, you know, show my talent with Life, I was able to hook up with other musicians and other acts, such like Neo, which I think was like my biggest career thing, you know, when I did, when Neo, they invited me to do MTV Unplugged with him. They had stopped doing MTV Unplugged, and that was just a dream of mine as a kid. And I was like, oh, man. And I had just came home from tour with Life, and they was like, are you home? We want you to come do MTV Unplugged with Neo tomorrow. So, I mean, you know, once you get in the business and you know, people see that you work hard and they see that you really are, you know, talented and you're true to your gift, and they can get along with you and people like you, you know, you'll get work. And that's how I've been able to work doing backgrounds, you know, for the last 15 years.
Amen to that. Vocal powerhouse Terrell T-Rex Simon is granted access on Nexxlegacy Radio. And to me, it's just, you know, I always see it as, because there is an overload of musicians trying to be able to make a break or make a name for themselves, to be established. And, you know, I know you've gotten a chance to work with so many different people, and now you've broken out and you have a project yourself. So tell the listeners a little bit about how you put together this project. And even though I hate the label terms, like I know you labeled it gospel, but, you know, tell the listeners why you went into that lane as opposed to, you know, traditional R&B, I guess you could say.
Well, I didn't name my music gospel. I call my music R&G, which means rhythm and gospel. It's rhythm and gospel. I took the B out because no blues. You know, it's the gospel. It's all good news. And my music is like, I'm a church boy, you know what I mean, but I love hip-hop. So my music is rhythm and gospel. It's hip-hop and R&B infused with gospel. You know what I'm saying? It's all good messages, all inspirational messages, but the music and the swag behind the music can be a bit hip-hop-ish. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not necessarily for the church crowd, but I'm trying to reach a different demographic of people. You know what I'm saying? Because they say, you know, you sing gospel, or you can't sing on this show, or you sing gospel, or we can't play on this station, or you sing gospel. You know, in my era, my age group are just like, well, if we got to go to church and they got to be foot stomping, you know what I'm saying? Like, we like hip hop. Why we can't serve God with hip hop? And it's been amazing since I put it out. A lot of guys that don't go to church, that aren't religious, you know, are now listening to gospel music. And they're like, Rex, I would never be listening to gospel music if it wasn't delivered in the way that you delivered it. So that's basically how I started with that. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, God, you know, I got to be real with myself, and I want to make an impact. And my first single, which is In His Image, which is doing real great now, radio, and I just did the video. It just talks about God made us all in His image so we can do anything. Very inspirational. And I said, you know, I wanted this the beginning, you know, where God created the heavens and the earth. And I say that in my song, you know, He made the earth. You know, I start from the beginning. And God made us in His image so we can do anything. And that's just was one of the messages that I wanted to relay to people, you know, just to make people feel better. You know, I'm that type of singer. I'm an inspirational type of guy. You know, I want to make you feel better, you know, by the time I'm singing.
I mean, and you do that with talent alone. That's just one of those things where it's just like people hear your voice and your style, and it's just, you know, it's definitely uplifting. And, you know, in a chaotic world where it's just, you know, everybody's into the, you know, the fast-paced life, and, people sometimes tend to not slow down and really absorb, let's just say, your project or others because they're so caught up in the glam of it all. Like when you take a look at just kind of how the commercialism, I guess you could say, of certain things put into perspective, like how do you tackle an audience where they have such a short attention span?
Well, you know what? I think people like what's real. And I think it's a lot of that other stuff out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not a lot of realness out here. And I think people are grasping to that. You know what I'm saying? I think when people can identify with your story and your testimony and, what you're going through and you put in your music, it's more than just going to the club and feel good. It's helping you. Like you want to play it for everybody, and I think realness just will always survive. Just a lot of people just not doing it anymore like, we used to. You had Lauryn Hill, you had Erykah Badu and all these, and Life Jennings, they put so much, knowledge into the music, but you don't really have nobody doing that anymore. That's in the forefront or that people can see. So I think people.
Why is that though?
Man.
Why is that?
Well, whoever's running these companies, they think they know what they're doing, and they all about the dollar. They're all about what's selling now, what's hot now. They can make a couple of million now. They're, I call it the popcorn generation. You know what I'm saying? They want it right now, but a lot of these artists and a lot of these songs, a couple of years from now, we don't forgot about them. We go on tour with like Frankie Beverly and Maze, and that's what I'm about. Music that's classic and that's gonna last. Frankie Beverly and Maze ain't had a hit single in over 30 years. But they are going out here and they are still packing out these arenas. They are still packing out these theaters. And then you get some of these earlier acts. These acts that are out now, they can't even get people to come to the club to see them. So
don't they move the crowd though? Frankie Beverly still get it, man. You are absolutely right. They stay, hey man, anybody
they making more money. They packing out stadiums still and making more money because the music was classic and people can identify with it. And it's not something that's real quick like popcorn. It make me feel good for right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can play. You'll be able to play my music 20, 30 years from now and still get that feeling and still feel like, I need to pass this music on.
And I think that's important, especially nowadays, because to me it's like my mom did it with Stevie Wonder and the Jacksons, and and I'm trying to do it, for my daughter when we have like music like yourself and we have like the Tony Braxtons and even going backwards, like my daughter just really got into Stevie Wonder, like a lot of his classic stuff, like Hotter Than July and stuff like that. And to me it's just about educating a different sound and not just absorbing the same sound, though.
But we complain a lot, but then we don't go buy the soul records when they come out.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So we can't really blame the music business too much, because then when you do get a good album, a good soul album, nobody don't go and buy it. So how are these men that are working these major labels, they not putting money into that. They want to put money in the stuff that they see people are coming and buying. So if we as a people supported our own music a little bit more, maybe we can get them to push it back to the forefront. But
hey man, you said a little bit more. I think we need to do it a whole lot more, Rex.
Yeah, a whole lot more.
I
try not to jump down on people. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
But, you. Yeah, man. Even talking to myself, and I find myself supporting a lot of more soul music. Even if I like them, if I don't like it, you know what I mean. But if we're going to keep it alive and we're going to keep it, then wanting to put it in the stores, and we got to buy it.
And I completely agree. T-Rex is my guest on All Legacy Access, brought to you by Nexxlegacy Radio. And I put something on my Facebook page, and I just want your opinion about it. Like, I feel like, a lot of people is on their quest to build an empire, but not really trying to build a legacy. To me, an empire, you always hear about empires. They always fall. Empires fall, et cetera, et cetera. But legacies are always the legacies that tend to no matter what. And you kind of mentioned it too, and you mentioned Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, where you won't have a hit 30 years, but you can still be able to pack an arena. What is your thoughts about the people who's just trying to be able to build that empire as opposed to building a legacy? Because a lot of people kind of they don't really know the difference between the two.
Well, I think it's a place and a time for everything.
Right.
Everything. I don't think all music should be serious. You want to have some fun sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it just should. It's got to be more of serious than it is play. You know what I mean? Like you said, we only in the club about 2 or 3 hours of a day. The other 20 something hours we dealing with ourselves.
Right.
So I really don't tend to judge nobody. That's what they do, and at certain times I like it. Certain times I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as me as an artist and what I'm going to represent and what I got to give, it has to be wisdom and knowledge and understanding of who God is and letting us know who we are. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have nothing against it, but I just can't do that.
Right. And to me, I think that's fair. That's fair. I mean, especially when you just look at, to me, and I always feel like when it comes to just the industry in general, like I feel like, everybody wants you to be a certain way. Like, the next person wants you to sound just like the same person that was over there, as opposed to, having your own sound, nurture your own sound, establish your own identity, and be the kind of man, woman, or child that a lot of people are going to be proud of. And it doesn't matter what church you go to. It doesn't matter what label you're on. It doesn't matter what family you belong to. As long as you can be able to put something out there that's, that's your talent and your style, and make it something worthwhile, and
right.
have that responsibility to share that with folks. And I think that's important.
Right. Yes. Be you. Be yourself. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna love you for you. Yeah.
So when you do take a look at the industry, take a look at the industry, Rex, and you do kind of you see all these little things that's in action right now, as far as just a lot of people kind of have the I'm gonna keep it real, like everybody has the same sound, and to me it's just like when I heard your sound. What was cool about it was you don't sound like Life. You don't sound like, Anthony Hamilton. You just sound like Rex. And to me, I think that's the best gift you can give us. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
and you know what? I had a hard time with that because I always felt like, I need to be singing like that person. They do more runs and riffs and they could do that. I need to sound just like that. Oh, I need to sound like this person. But when I learned to master and confident and be confident in myself and in my own voice and just doing me, you know what I'm saying, then you come up with my sound, you know what I'm saying, which is just a mixture of everybody, you know what I'm saying. But when you hear it, it's T-Rex. When you hear Neo, it's Neo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think a lot of artists these days, everybody sounds the same. It's like, when I hear something that's different and it might be wrong, I pretty much appreciate it just because it's different. You know what I'm saying? It don't really sound like everything that's going on. So,
you're like, hey man, at least you tried. At least you gave it that good college effort. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's, people just don't want to think outside the already small box. And I think that's what's, hurting a lot of people's creativity in a sense, because it is one where it's needed. You know how, music, we need creativity. That's what we were birthed off that. We listened to different songs and different albums back in the day based on creativity. I come from the old school record age where it's just like, I wanted to have that nice record that I could put down and just zone out. But then I had another record from another artist and it was solid because they were different than the last. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have that no more. We need that. Music is that one. We need it.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody want money, and everybody wants, they want that thing that they think is going to work because, everybody else is getting money and making it to the top, So then, people, you tend to follow, everybody else running looking for money. or running and trying to be in the hype and forgetting like what music really stands for and why we doing this. So
Absolutely.
I mean, we human, we get caught up in it, but I think a lot of singers that did are now are like coming back around and like wait. Tyrese's last album, I think was amazing. From beginning to end, and I just think we need more of that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me get your thoughts real quick, Rex, and Rex is our guest on All Legacy Access, and just kind of like you mentioned Tyrese, and I'm gonna mention Erykah Badu because I know I had someone really important to me. We was listening to it recently, and I kind of zoned out, and I was like, hey, I applaud her because she took a concept and she ran with it with this recent project she has out. So I just kind of wanted your thoughts as far as just not just people trying to bring that creativity back to the music industry, but also your thoughts on, outside of the people that you just, currently work with, who are some of your inspirations also?
Some of my inspirations, my biggest inspiration is Dave Hollister. Ever since I was a kid, I've been trying to sing like Dave Hollister, from the Blackstreet days.
He's nice.
And
he's nice.
Yeah, man. And I recently met him and sang for him, and he took me on the road with him last year on tour, and it was just like a dream come true. Because we just both have similar things, we both from the hood, we both been involved in the drug game. He's now a preacher, and has his own church, and he's just trying to do the right thing, and I'm kind of like right there. So the we call him the hood. The ghetto preacher and the ghetto hymns, Dave Hollister was always that hood dude that sounded like he was from church, you know what I'm saying? And I call I'm like a little Dave, So Dave Hollister most definitely, you know what I'm saying? The music his music is for the preacher and the thug, and that's pretty much one of my biggest idols. Like I love Dave Hollister. But Lauryn Hill, I'm a little older, so I still like the Lauryn Hills and the Erykah Badus. You know what I'm saying? I'm still with them. I really don't have anybody currently, that's out now that, except for I really love J. Cole. I think J. Cole is talking about something, and he has a great platform, and he's one of the ones I think that do have a great platform that are out there that's really speaking and saying something to people. But that's about it. It's not really too many, that I follow. Of course, Life Jennings. No doubt. That's about it, man.
No doubt. No, I think it's important to because to me I always feel like the music industry, just like a lot of other entertainment genres, should be, classified as like, a fraternity type. You know what I mean? Like, I think we need to, support each other in a sense where it's just like, hey, you know what? It's nice to know that you root for these people, guys, girls, we got to get the kids back into doing music and stuff because that seemed to be a lost art form. So we need to help them get back. But when you look at not just the current fraternity that we call the music industry, but you got so many, aspiring people wanting to get in. And, hey, man, I got to give you credit because it's just like I said earlier to start the show. It's just like, dude, you just, you hooked up with Life Jennings, and then you just said you just met somebody else like not too long ago. I mean, like, and he took you on tour. So it's just like, wow, big deal. So, how can you try to instill some confidence in a, man, woman, or child who's trying to get to where you're at?
I would say you got to know your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Know your purpose, and it'll be a little bit easier for you. I think we all have many gifts and talents. You know what I'm saying? I'm a good cook. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to school trying to be no chef. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of real things. I'm a good manager. I'm a good this. I'm a good that. But I know what my purpose is, and that's to be a singer and to sing.
Right.
And to give wisdom and knowledge. So I tell people all the time, you got to know for a shadow of a doubt that this is what you're supposed to be doing. Because, you can't just be good at singing, but that may not be your purpose here on earth. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you know your purpose and you 100% sure about it, and you know for a fact that this is what, you know, God has called you to do, then go ahead and do it. It'll work out. You just got to keep going.
Straight up.
But if there's a question,
you know,
if there's a slight question, well, maybe I'm good at this and maybe I should be doing that, then maybe you got to think it over. You know what I mean? Because it shouldn't be a doubt in your mind.
Right. You know, it comes from that purpose of trying to be all in and just, you know, do it. Because to me, it's just like, you know, you're not as good as the risk you take. Like, if you take, like, maximum risk for the passion that you have as far as your art form, then there's really no risk at all, because you know you went all in to do the best you can to be able to get the message out that you really want, as opposed to being on the fence about it. So I got you on there. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, man. You know, I have a lot of friends that they just get so mixed up in their gifts and talents and their purpose, you know? And just like, you wasting all this time doing this over here when God's really calling you to do this over here. You know, this thing that you do over here with no, you know, they say, you know, you call, you know, your purpose. Some of the things is you do it with ease. You weren't taught to do it. It's just something that came to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, you know, you're happy doing it, you know. But, you know, that's where your relationship with God comes in, you know, because if you have that, then he'll direct you in the way that you're supposed to go, you know.
Amen to that.
Definitely know your purpose, man. And it takes a while. It's not
humble.
something you just say, okay, I know my purpose. You know what I'm saying? It took me, you know what I'm saying? It took me years and years and years of trying different things out. Don't be afraid to try different things. But if you don't see no success in it ain't working or and you just trying it, then try something else. You know what I'm saying? Until you get it right.
And you gotta humble your surroundings and stuff like that too. Like the internet, and I'm pretty sure you're and we're gonna get all your social media connects and all that good stuff too shortly. But I know the media has been abuzz from, you know, the statement Jada Pinkett Smith has made, Spike Lee, Snoop Dogg, and even you know, others in regards to the boycotting of the Oscars. And as an artist yourself, I want your candid opinion about not just the boycotting of it, but if there's other avenues that we can take to be able to, you know, speak our mind.
You know, when it comes to this, I'm real funny because I'm a different type of person. Like, I'm really just not into all of that at all. I hate politics. I'm not into politics. I've never voted in my life. And I just really kind of just do me, and I kind of just stay away from all of that stuff. Personally, if I had a problem, you know, I might not have went about it that way. You know, I might have went about it another way. You know, but people are people. Like, we all different. People feel different. You know, we don't really know why people do what they do. You know, so I respect Jada and I respect them, and I do believe they are right. We're all the black people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, you know, I would handle it another way. You know, I wouldn't get all that because just for me, T-Rex, I'm just not into politics at all. It's just not for me. I just don't deal with it. You know, I say a prayer, God, like, help us, Jesus, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And, you know, I keep it moving.
You know, and I feel like this, especially because you're a music guy. So being a music guy, I know back in the day, and you're probably around the same age as me, so you probably know this. Like, in a sense, we had a similar stance that we took for the Grammys, and when it came to hip hop, because, you know, hip hop was shunned by the Grammys on a number of occasions. So the boycott was more or less like, okay, well, if you're not going to host a party, then we'll host our own party, which, you know, they pulled from so many different people. And then the Grammys finally let they was like, okay, well, you know, hip hop can have a category. But, you know, to me, I always feel like, you know, when it's an opportunity that we have to be able to showcase our talent, you know, it should be on an even platform, but in most cases it tends to not be. So, you know, it's kind of hard to be able to, you know, cross the line, but then not so much, because you want to still make sure you maintain your integrity at the end of the day.
I love what they're doing. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's right. And let's diversify this thing up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. No, I think that's
until now for us to get the numbers. It's like, okay, we didn't know all these years that it was 93% white folks on the board and only a couple of percent blacks. Like, did we just find this out?
Right.
You know,
like, who? As much as we live on social media, like, the research should have been, like, turned up a little bit more, right? Like, it should have been a little bit more higher. You know what I mean? Yeah, I hear you. And my man T-Rex, All Legacy Access, brought to you by Nexxlegacy Radio, is here. And a couple of quick ones before we let you go. And I know your project is out, and where can people go and get it? We're looking forward to listening to it, bro.
Yes, it's on all digital outlets. Terrell T-Rex Simon, 8 New Beginnings, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, Pandora. I just got my own Pandora station. You know, it's on everything. Yeah, man, I just got my own station. And then you can actually order the CD on Amazon.com. You know, if you just don't want the download, you want the actual CD, you can order through Amazon.com.
Amen to that. And you know how we gotta ask you, man, where can we find you on social media? Because I know you're active.
Yes, my Instagram is popping. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost at 60,000 followers on Instagram, and this all just happened since I put the music out. You know, because I really wasn't on Instagram that heavy because, you know, I was role managing, I was back singing, but, you know, I really wasn't trying to sell no records. And then when I put this record out, I had like maybe 1,000-something followers, and I put the record out, and it just shot. I'm over 50-something thousand followers, and I'm getting like 300 to 400 followers a day. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes 600 a day. And it's just growing. But I talk to everybody on my Instagram. It's T-Rex, T-R-E-X 0506. That's also my Twitter, T-R-E-X 0506. And my Facebook is T-Rex Sings. That's T-R-E-X S-I-N-G-S.
You got a Twitter too? Man, people don't talk about Twitter like they used to. It's all about Instagram now, man.
I said Twitter. Yeah, my Twitter and my Instagram is the same. T-Rex 0506. I'm still on Twitter. Yeah.
There you go. That's what's up. And before we let you go, man, you told the listeners earlier that you are good cook. So, you know, I gotta let you in on, like, hey, man, is there anything that the listeners, that's new fans and people that's been knowing you for a while, that's been supporting you in your corner, you know, is there anything that anybody else would like to know about you? Not only do you cook, but you crochet or you plant flowers. What else does Rex do in his downtime if he's not singing?
I watch the ID channel, episode after episode after episode after episode after episode. 3, 5, 6 days we done went by, and I'll be in the house solving cases. If I wasn't a singer, I would be a detective. That's what I do. I'm into, like, I don't watch the news. I don't watch shows. I'm just into CSI, forensic science, like the ID channel. So that's one thing that's, you know, people like, Rex, what you doing? Watching the ID channel?
So Rex, and, you on that first 48 too? You on first 48 too, or? I'm
on the first 48 too, but I'm addicted to ID channel, and I'm also addicted to crawfish. I have, even though I'm a great cook, I eat crawfish for dinner every day.
I heard that.
No lie. Since
you're a good cook, Rex, aside from crawfish, what else you get down with?
I cook anything, man. You know what I'm saying? But I changed my diet recently, so I don't cook as much stuff as I used to cook. But chicken, you know, all the soul food stuff, all the non-soul food stuff. You know what I'm saying? I just know what stuff supposed to taste like. So, you know, I'm heavy into the seasonings and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But my meals is good. My friends come over and I cook.
Definitely a good look. Rex, you still with us, or phone died?
I'm right here.
Oh, you right here? Okay, I got you. Right on. So, hey, that means you got a restaurant coming out soon, man. So, that's about to go down. You talking about all this food, bro. Actually, you got to come out with a restaurant.
Yeah. Actually, Life is building something right now. I don't know if I can say it or nothing, but it's something we building, like a restaurant type of lounge type of thing in Atlanta.
That's
and
what's
I'll be
up.
doing like
That's what's up.
Live music. Yeah, I'm doing live music there like once a night. So, we working on that.
That's what it is, man. Hey, in closing, man, I want to not just thank you for showcasing your talent to Nexxlegacy Radio, but also, man, continuing your grind because, as far as you doing it, it's not an accident that you've been stumbling upon Life Jennings, that, Anthony Hamilton, all the people that you pretty much just, continue to rock with. That's like, hey, you know what? You got talent, come tour with me. They say that because they not just see your work ethic, but they hear your God-given talent. So, hey, come along for the journey and let's go get this. And I'm proud that they reached out to you. And, people like myself and other media outlets, man, we're going to continue to, showcase your talent and show our appreciation to what you do, man. So, just never change. Just keep evolving, though. You know what I'm saying? And just, stay on that path because we appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Keep me in your prayers, spread the music. I appreciate you for having me. You know what I'm saying? If you have any events that you have coming up, my thing is live. I call it RNG. I perform in clubs. I perform in the church. It's all, music is for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit me up, hit my people up, and let me come perform for you.
Hey, man, that's all good, man. There's something in the works, man, so we definitely going to have to connect on it on a lot of levels, man. But, hey, man, blessings to you. Continue your path, and proud of you, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. New beginning.
Stay up. That is T-Rex right here on All Legacy Action.